In this ever-changing world, where a single careless word, a fleeting glance, or even the smallest challenge can unsettle our hearts, make us angry or sad, is there a way to stand firm and not get swept away by the endless whirlwind of emotions? Marcus Aurelius, the great emperor and Stoic philosopher, once emphasized, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. You have control over your own mind, not the circumstances outside of you. This is the secret that helps us become unshakable, no matter how turbulent life may be." Today, I invite you to discover 13 ways to act as if nothing bothers you, and witness how your life can truly transform once you apply these principles. Don't miss a single point. Stay with me until the very end, and if you're ready to begin this journey towards resilience, leave a comment. I'm ready, and let's start right now. 1. True strength is mastery of reaction. True strength does not arise from a life free of obstacles, nor is it the privilege of those who have never been tested. Rather, it reveals itself in those rare moments when you are hurt, insulted, or disappointed, yet you remain unshaken when you choose your response rather than surrender to impulse. Imagine for a moment, every time you allow a careless word, a trivial inconvenience, or someone's bad temper to dictate your emotional state, you are handing the keys of your inner world to someone else. You become a puppet whose strings are pulled by the whims of external events. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." In these words lies the essence of Stoic wisdom. It is not what happens to us, but our interpretation and reaction that give rise to suffering or peace. The world will never stop testing you, but you are not condemned to be a victim of every storm. Instead, you can be the anchor that holds steady amidst the raging sea, the silent rock unshaken by crashing waves. To master your reaction is to reclaim your freedom. It is to live as the true architect of your emotions, refusing to be pushed or pulled by the judgments, opinions, or chaos of others. In this mastery, you become resilient, not because the world is gentle, but because your mind is strong. Each moment of self-control is a victory, a quiet assertion that you alone decide the meaning of your experience. This is the path to unshakable strength, the strength that is born from within and cannot be taken away. 2. Stop letting the world control you. Too often, we let the world dictate the weather of our inner life. The careless words of others, a single harsh critique, or even the sting of rejection, these echoes from the outside world creep into our minds and begin to shape our emotions. We become like leaves in the wind, tossed about by every passing opinion and fleeting judgment. But Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Imagine that, the power to revoke the pain. If you can stop letting the world pull you into its web of negativity, you unlock a freedom that cannot be taken away. Consider the story of an employee who, after receiving harsh criticism from his boss, chose not to carry anger home with him. Instead, he paused. He observed his own emotional storm as a distant thunder, not as a force to drown in. He reflected on the feedback objectively, extracting the lesson within the critique. Rather than dwelling in resentment, he focused on growth and preserved his peace of mind. In doing so, he became the anchor amidst the tempest, refusing to let external noise shake his core. Over time, his performance improved and his relationship with his boss deepened, a subtle but profound transformation. This is the quiet power of Stoicism in daily life. When you refuse to let the outside world control your emotions, you reclaim ownership over your experience. Freedom, then, is not escape from challenge, but mastery of your own response. As Seneca reminded us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Master your inner world, and no storm outside can unsettle you. 3. Control only what is within. There is a quiet but undeniable power in learning to control only what truly belongs to you, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. Stoicism, at its very core, teaches us that the boundaries of our influence end at the edges of our own minds. Everything beyond other people's opinions, the unpredictable twists of fate, even the weather, lies outside the circle of our command. Yet how many times have you tried, in frustration or fear, to shape the world to fit your expectations, only to be left exhausted and disappointed? Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome and philosopher king, faced pressures and betrayals greater than most of us could ever imagine. Even Epictetus, born into the harshest chains of slavery, discovered a freedom that not even iron shackles nor cruel masters could ever steal from him. His body may have been bound, but his spirit remained untouched and unconquerable. Epictetus refused to let circumstance define the depths of his soul. He taught us, no one can harm you without your consent. You will be harmed the moment you allow yourself to be harmed. These words are not just wisdom, but a shield reminding us that true suffering only begins when we surrender our minds to the storm outside. Think about it. The world may swirl in chaos, insults hurled, setbacks pressing in, the winds of change howling around us. But within, we are free to choose our response. This is the art of the anchored soul, to stand like a steadfast rock amidst crashing waves, to welcome difficulties as passing storms, never as permanent defeats. When you master your internal state, you become the author of your fate. You become the unshakable force, the quiet center in a noisy, unpredictable world. So, what happens when you stop grasping for control over the uncontrollable and turn inward instead? You discover a freedom untouched by circumstance. But there is another challenge on this path: your emotions. What if you could learn not just to control your reactions, but to keep your emotions from ruling your life entirely? Stay with me, because what comes next might change the way you see yourself forever. 4. Not letting emotions run your life. To truly act as if nothing bothers you is not to erase all emotion, nor to wear a mask of cold indifference. Rather, it is to become deeply aware of your feelings, yet remain unmoved by their storms. Stoic wisdom does not teach us to deny anger, pain, or fear, but to master them, to hold steady as the anchor holds fast amid raging seas. Consider for a moment the life of Nelson Mandela. After 27 long years of imprisonment, in which bitterness could have easily taken root, he emerged not with a heart poisoned by revenge, but with a spirit luminous with forgiveness. Mandela did not allow his suffering to dictate his destiny. Instead, he welcomed his former enemies, extended a hand of compassion, and became the architect of a new era for his people. He chose healing over hatred, reconciliation over retaliation. Imagine if resentment had ruled his mind, South Africa might have been plunged into deeper division, and history would have been written in the language of conflict, not unity. Mandela's calm amidst turmoil was not the absence of feeling, but the result of extraordinary self-mastery. He became the rock in the ocean, steady no matter how fierce the waves. His story asks us, what might we become if we too refuse to let anger shape our actions? True power, Mandela reminds us, lies not in dominating others, but in mastering ourselves. This is the art the Stoics invite us to practice, feeling every emotion, yet refusing to be ruled by them. Life will always bring storms. Criticism, disappointment, and loss are inevitable. But you are not the waves. You are the anchor. The stronger your hold within, the less the world outside can shake you. Master your reactions, and you reclaim your freedom, no longer a prisoner of every passing feeling, but the author of your own life. 5. The power of detachment. Have you ever wondered why some people can walk through chaos, insults, or storms of negativity and still remain calm, almost untouchable, as if nothing in the world can shake their spirit? What is their secret? It is the power of detachment, a core teaching of Stoicism that Marcus Aurelius himself mastered in both philosophy and practice. To detach is not to be indifferent, nor is it to suppress or ignore your feelings. True detachment means holding your emotions gently, observing them without letting them control your actions. It is the art of pausing, choosing not to react impulsively. Detachment is the power to revoke the grip that outside events have on your soul. It is, in fact, a form of inner strength and self-mastery, not weakness. Consider the story of an MMA fighter, moments before a high-stakes match. His opponent mocks him, taunts him, tries to provoke a reaction to make him angry, lose control, and fight with emotion rather than strategy. But the fighter simply smiles, lets the words float by, and remains focused. He knows that to react is to hand over his power, to remain detached is to keep his center unshakable. When the fight begins, his calmness becomes his armor. He does not waste energy on anger or pride. He channels everything into his performance, and victory comes not just from physical skill, but from the discipline of detachment. This story is more than just about martial arts. It's a metaphor for life. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." Like the fighter, we are often tested by the words and actions of others. But what if, instead of reacting, we chose to remain still? Imagine yourself as the anchor in a raging storm. The world may roar around you, but your peace is your greatest strength. True victory is not in conquering others, but in mastering yourself. That is the essence of Stoicism. The power of detachment allows you to choose your response, rather than being a slave to circumstance. It is the silent armor that shields your inner world, keeping you free, balanced, and ultimately undefeatable. This is the true victory, to act as if nothing bothers you and discover the quiet strength that lies within. 6. Emotional discipline. True calmness is never born from mere wishing. It is a result of quiet, disciplined practice each and every day. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This is the essence of emotional discipline, the art of mastering yourself rather than being mastered by passing storms. Imagine for a moment the countless opportunities life gives us to react. A harsh word, an unfair judgment, a sudden disappointment. Instinct whispers, defend yourself, fight back, let the anger speak. But the Stoic path calls us to something higher, to choose silence over argument, patience over rage, clarity over confusion. It is not weakness, it is the quiet strength of a mind that refuses to be ruled by every passing feeling. Consider the Japanese, who have become a symbol of collective calm. In the face of natural disasters, earthquakes, tsunamis, the world has watched, astonished, as people stood in orderly lines, quietly supported one another, and maintained composure amid chaos. This is not magic. It is emotional discipline woven into the fabric of their culture, practiced and embodied from childhood. Emotional discipline does not numb us to the world. It sharpens our perception, freeing us from knee-jerk reactions and helping us act with intention. Every time you choose stillness over turmoil, you are forging an inner armor, one that protects you and inspires those around you. And as we reach this halfway mark on our journey, I want to thank you deeply for being here, for reflecting, and for letting these words in. Your interaction truly helps push this message further, and together we can spark real change, one mind at a time. And hey, are you thinking about clicking away? Don't even think about it, because the next secrets I'm about to reveal are even more life-changing. Trust me, you'll want to stay. The best is yet to come. Let's take things to the next level together. 7. Freedom from the need for approval. There is an invisible chain that binds countless lives, a chain forged not of iron, but of longing for approval. How often do we hesitate, suppress our own voice, or abandon our unique path simply to win the fleeting nod of others? The need for validation is a subtle jailer, shaping our every move, whispering that our worth is measured in the eyes of those who watch us. True freedom is born the moment you no longer grant others the power to define your value. Vincent van Gogh, a man who walked this earth unknown, uncelebrated, even dismissed. His paintings, bursting with color and raw emotion, were rejected by his contemporaries. Yet imagine if Van Gogh had let the silence of indifference and the sting of rejection seep into his soul. What if he had bowed to the hunger for approval, traded his authenticity for fleeting applause? The world would have been deprived of those swirling night skies and golden fields that now inspire millions. His legacy stands as a living testament. Greatness flourishes not where there is applause, but where the soul dares to create, even in solitude. True richness, then, is the courage to create regardless of recognition. Like a tree that quietly grows roots in darkness before breaking into blossom, Van Gogh's genius reminds us, the most powerful creations are born not from the noise of the crowd, but from the quiet conviction within. So ask yourself, will you let the world's silence you, or will you dare to create anyway? Letting go of the need for approval is not cold detachment. It is the deepest act of self-respect. It is the moment you realize that your worth is innate, unmoved by praise, unscathed by criticism. Imagine your heart as an anchor in a restless sea. When approval comes, you greet it with humility. When disapproval arrives, you remain at peace. In this way, you become free not just from the judgments of others, but from the fear that once chained your spirit. Only then can you truly live, guided by your values, and write your own story with courage and authenticity. 8. Responding to criticism. Have you ever wondered why some words cut deeper than others? Why a single remark can linger in your mind, echoing for days, even when you know it comes from a place of misunderstanding or envy? Marcus Aurelius once asked himself, "Why are we disturbed by the opinions of others?" The answer, he realized, lies not in their words, but in our response. Not all criticism is created equal. A wise person learns to listen with discernment, to sift gold from sand, to take what serves and let the rest fall away. As Seneca reflected, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. So often, it's not the criticism itself, but our attachment to it that wounds us. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a household name, she faced more than 10 rejections from publishers. Each no could have been a stone thrown at her self-worth. Yet Rowling did not let these criticisms define her. She welcomed them as signals, signs that there was still room to grow, to sharpen her craft, to refine the magic of her words. In every rejection, she found a reason to persist, not a reason to shrink. The truth is, when you act as if criticism cannot touch the core of who you are, you open the door to resilience. You begin to see feedback not as a threat, but as a tool. You become the steady rock amidst crashing waves, unshaken by passing storms. Remember, you are not at the mercy of others' opinions. Your value is not determined by the applause or the boos. So, what about you? How do you respond to criticism? Do you let it hold you back, or do you use it as fuel to become stronger? Share your thoughts below with the words, "I choose resilience." Let's begin the journey together. 9. The power of silence and mystery. There is a kind of power that does not shout, does not rush to defend, nor seeks to dominate a room with words. It is the power of silence, a force that is often misunderstood as weakness, but in truth, it is the armor of self-control and the quiet confidence of those who have mastered themselves. In moments of tension, when accusations fly and emotions flare, it is so easy to react, to defend, to let words become weapons. Yet, as Marcus Aurelius teaches us, true mastery begins when we realize we do not have to answer every provocation. Silence, in its purest form, is not emptiness. It is a canvas on which the strength of our character is painted. When we hold our tongue and choose not to reveal every thought or emotion, we invite a certain mystery, a kind of depth that others cannot quite decipher. This mystery becomes a shield. People become cautious, even respectful, before those who are not easily read or swayed. Like a stone anchored deep beneath the raging sea, the silent individual remains unmoved by the storm above. History is filled with those who changed the world, not through endless argument, but through a calm and steady presence. As Carl Jung once noted, in all chaos, there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. The more silent you become, the more you allow life's noise to pass you by, untouched, and the greater your influence grows. But silence is never about passivity. It is about presence. It is about knowing that not every battle is worth fighting, and sometimes the greatest answer is no answer at all. As we journey onward, let us ask, what if the very challenges that test our patience are, in fact, the secret forges of inner strength? Stay with me, for in the next part, we will uncover why the fires of adversity are not your enemy, but the very crucible in which your true self is forged. 10. Challenges are opportunities to forge inner strength. Life, in its unpredictable nature, never ceases to present us with storms. Some arrive as gentle rains, others as violent tempests that threaten to uproot the very foundation of our being. Yet, it is precisely in these moments, when the winds howl and the sky darkens, that our true character is forged. As Marcus Aurelius once observed, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Difficulties, then, are not obstacles to be avoided, but the very crucible in which our inner strength is refined. Think of yourself as a blacksmith standing before the furnace. Each trial is a flame, each setback a hammer's strike against raw metal. Without this heat, without the persistent rhythm of pressure and resistance, the metal remains brittle and incomplete. So too does the spirit grow only through the fire of adversity. Each time you respond to hardship not with anger or despair, but with calm and acceptance, you add another layer of unbreakable armor to your mind. Consider the world in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. So many lives were upended, dreams paused or lost, families torn apart by distance or grief. Entire cities, once bustling with life, fell silent. In this collective stillness, pain and uncertainty became familiar guests in every home. And yet, amid the ashes of loss, something remarkable emerged. A quiet strength, often unnoticed, began to take root within countless individuals. For many, acceptance became the first step on the path to healing. They faced the harsh reality that some things were simply beyond their control. Jobs disappeared, plans evaporated, the future seemed shrouded in fog. But by choosing to adapt, by embracing flexibility and letting go of what could not be changed, people transformed their pain into an unbreakable resilience. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." And so it was. The adversity did not vanish. Instead, it revealed the extraordinary power of human response. In the end, these trials taught us something profound. Peace is not the absence of challenges, but the ability to meet them with courage and wisdom. True strength, as the Stoics teach, is born from within. So when life confronts you with difficulty, remember, it is not here to break you, but to temper you. Let each hardship become your teacher. As you persist, you will find yourself not only unbothered, but quietly powerful, like an anchor that holds firm, no matter how fierce the storm. 11. Master your reactions. True strength is not revealed in moments of comfort, but in those flashes when life tests you most. Imagine being surrounded by the clamor of criticism, misunderstanding, or sudden misfortune. How easily the tides of emotion can threaten to sweep you away. Yet what if, in that very moment, you discovered an anchor within yourself, a place untouched by chaos, a space where you remain unshaken? To master your reactions is to reclaim the steering wheel of your own life. The world may send storms your way, but you are not obliged to become the storm. People may project their frustrations, events may spin out of control, but you alone decide what enters your mind and how you respond. The greatest act of freedom is the quiet refusal to be ruled by anything outside of yourself. In this space, anger loses its grip, disappointment dissolves, and the urge to lash out fades into a gentle silence. It is in this mastery that you become not a puppet pulled by invisible strings, but the composer of your own experience. Every time you pause, breathe, and choose your response, you strengthen the muscles of inner resilience. Like a rock standing firm against relentless waves, you transform agitation into understanding and criticism into self-reflection. This is not indifference, but the highest form of courage, to remain steady when the world expects you to break. Over time, those around you will notice the difference not in your circumstances, but in your presence. Suddenly the opinions of others and the unpredictable dance of fate no longer dictate your peace. You become the quiet force, inspiring others not by domination, but by example. In mastering your reactions, you master your life, and that is true freedom. 12. Living unbothered is not indifference, but steadfastness. To live unbothered is often misunderstood. Some may see it as emotional numbness, a cold detachment from the world, or even indifference to the joys and sufferings around us. But those who truly understand this path know that genuine resilience is not a shield that blocks out feeling. It is the strength to experience everything life brings, without being swept away or defined by fleeting emotions. Imagine yourself in the middle of chaos, a harsh word from a colleague, the sting of failure echoing in your chest, or the sudden loss of something you once cherished. The world seems to lean in, almost waiting for you to react, to raise your voice, to fight back, or to let your spirit collapse under the weight of disappointment. But what if, in that very moment, you simply pause? You take a slow breath. You create a small, sacred space between stimulus and response. What emerges is not indifference nor apathy. Rather, it is an act of strength, to feel everything, but to let wisdom, not raw emotion, shape your reply. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You are not cold. In fact, you care so deeply that you refuse to let anger, resentment, or fear dictate your life. You act with intention. Your calm is not emptiness, it is the safe harbor, quiet, solid, unwavering amidst the howling storm. In that silence, you discover the true freedom that comes from self-mastery. You become the steady rock, the anchor in the storm, living proof that real power is a gentle, unshakable presence. Indifference is the act of turning away, of refusing to engage, of denying the reality of pain or beauty. True steadfastness, however, is standing firm amidst the storm, allowing every emotion its place, but refusing to become its prisoner. When you live in this way, you become, as Marcus Aurelius wrote, to be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it. So living unbothered is not a withdrawal from life, it is a mastery of it. It is the art of presence, of deep care anchored in strength, where nothing shakes your inner peace, and every experience is met with a steady, compassionate heart. 13. Training composure is a lifelong journey. There are days when life feels like a storm, chaotic, unpredictable, and relentless in its demands. Every morning you awaken to new challenges, unexpected confrontations, or even the silent pressure of your own doubts. But what if each of these moments is not an enemy, but an invitation? An invitation to train your composure, to strengthen that invisible armor which guards your peace. Just as a blacksmith tempers steel through the relentless pounding of fire and hammer, so too are you shaped by the trials you endure. It is not a question of if you will be tested, but how you will respond. Consider the way Zen masters and martial artists dedicate their entire lives to cultivating calmness and focus. They do not seek applause, they seek mastery over the self. Their discipline is not a single achievement, but a quiet, endless journey, a river that never ceases to flow. With every dawn, they return to their practice, not to impress others, but to deepen their own understanding. The world may be filled with noise, chaos, and countless distractions, but within the heart of the true practitioner lies a sanctuary of stillness. Each moment of mindfulness, each conscious breath, is a step on the path to this victory. Think about how these masters respond to adversity. When insulted, they remain silent. When challenged, they respond with grace. Their calm is not a mask, but a shield, the armor that protects their peace from the storms outside. They know that storms will come, but a rooted tree does not fear the wind. In their patient repetition, they discover a powerful truth. Real freedom is not found in controlling the world, but in commanding their own reactions. In this mastery, they find a quiet, unshakable strength. You too have this potential. Composure is not a destination to reach once and for all. It is a path you walk each day, sometimes with steady steps, sometimes faltering. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when anger or fear threatens to consume you. Yet every time you pause, every time you choose silence over reaction, you become a little stronger, a little more unshakable. Gradually, you will find that nothing external can disturb the quiet fortress you have built within. And in that quietness, you will discover the rarest kind of freedom, the freedom that can never be taken from you. Living resiliently, as Marcus Aurelius once taught, is not about suppressing your emotions or becoming indifferent to life. It is the art of mastering yourself amid the storms, training every single day so that nothing external can control your inner world. When you consistently choose to act as if nothing bothers you, you do more than just protect your own peace. You become a beacon of strength and calm for those around you. Remember, mastering yourself means mastering your entire life. And once you reach this level of inner control, nothing outside of you can ever disturb your soul again. So, after hearing these 13 powerful principles of Stoicism, which lesson resonates with you the most? How will you apply it to your own journey starting today? I invite you to share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. Let's learn from each other and together build a life that is unshakable. Thank you for watching and spending your valuable time here. Wishing you strength, peace, and a beautiful new day ahead. Stay strong and always remember, you have the power within you.